Have you ever looked around and thought, I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to, yet why do I feel so behind? You work hard, you show up, you check all the boxes, and yet it feels like everybody else is way further ahead of you. They're buying homes, getting fit, building businesses, glowing up, and you keep thinking to yourself, what am I missing? If that thought has ever crossed your mind, then you are not alone. And today I want to pack why so many of us, especially those in our 30s or 40s, still feel behind, even when we feel like we are doing everything right. Because the truth is, you are not broken, but the system that you're measuring yourself against is. So welcome to the Reclaim series. This is a new series that I started on this channel where we talk about topics and ways to reclaim our time, our energy, and our sense of self in a world that's constantly telling us that we are not enough. And I want to give a quick shout out to Dave from Humble Viewpoint, who actually suggested that I turn this into a series in a recent poll. So thank you, Dave. You inspired me to start discussions about something really important. I remember sitting at my desk after work one day, feeling exhausted, but also proud. I was balancing a full-time job, raising kids, working hard, and even building a YouTube channel on the side. On paper, I was doing everything right. And yet, every night before bed, the same thought crept in. You should be further ahead by now. And maybe you felt that too, especially if you're a YouTuber, that quiet, heavy pressure. It's like an invisible race that no one told us we signed up for, where we're constantly measuring our worth by how fast we are moving and how close we are to some imaginary finish line. But here's the truth, I wish someone had told me sooner. Feeling of being behind is rarely tied to what you're doing, but more about what you're comparing yourself to. According to a 2018 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, at least 80% of people admit to comparing themselves to others at least once a day. And social media has amplified that tenfold. Neuroscientists have even identified the exact area of the brain. It's called the ventral striatum, which lights up when we compare ourselves to others. It's the same part of the brain that's involved in processing rewards. This means comparison literally gives your brain a chemical jolt, a dopamine hit, so that you keep coming back for more. But here's the kicker, the same study found that frequent comparison also leads to lower self-esteem, higher anxiety, and decreased motivation. It's like a drug that feels good for a second, but makes you feel miserable long-term. And I have an entire video that I did on the topic of self-comparison. I'm going to link it for you here, so feel free to check it out. So even when you're doing well, your brain can trick you into feeling like you're not. The illusion of linear success. Let me tell you about one of my friends. She's 43 years old now. She got married early, she had a high-paying job, and she even had a house before most of us even had savings. I remember thinking, wow, she's really figured it all out. Fast forward 20 years, and life happened. Career changes, divorce, and burnout. Meanwhile, the rest of us, the late bloomers, we were finally finding our stride. She said something so profound that it made me reflect. She said, I built my dream life too early, before I even knew who I was. And that conversation reminded me of something that psychologists call the progress illusion. It's the belief that life should unfold in a straight and predictable line, and that once you hit certain milestones, you are ahead. But research from the University of Chicago found that our personal and professional growth actually occurs in waves, not lines. We plateau, we pivot, and we start again. And that's not failure, that's human development. There's another piece to this puzzle that we rarely talk about. Society conditions us to measure our life by milestones. Graduate by 22, career by 25, marriage by 30, house and kids by 35, and then financial freedom by 40. But those timelines were built for a world that no longer exists. The average person changes careers 3 to 4 times, marries late, if at all, and lives longer than ever before. So in other words, that map is outdated. You're living in 2025, but you're following a timeline written in 1985. So if you're feeling behind, it's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's because you're using a measuring stick that doesn't fit the time that we're in, and it doesn't even fit your life anymore. The science of perceived progress. Here's something fascinating. Harvard researchers found that people who feel like they're making progress, even if their progress feels small, report 45% higher satisfaction and happiness. The key word here is feel. Our brains are wired to crave progress, not perfection. Even micro movements, such as a small project completed, a new skill learned, or routine followed, can all rewire your brain to feel more accomplished. This is why gratitude journaling, tracking your habits, or even making a list of your small wins can dramatically shift your sense of momentum. You're not faking progress, you're training your brain to see it. Now let's imagine this. You're climbing a mountain. You've been walking for hours, tired, sweaty, and hungry, and you're wondering if you'll ever make it to the top. You look up and you see other hikers ahead of you. You feel behind. But what you don't see are the ones behind you, or the fact that those ahead of you might be on a different trail. When I started my YouTube journey, I remember watching some of the biggest YouTubers with millions of views and subscribers and thinking to myself, what am I doing wrong? But what I didn't realize is that they've been at it for years. Different trail, different terrain, but same mountain range. The moment I stopped trying to race others and started competing with who I was yesterday, when I didn't even have a channel, I had 0 subscribers, I didn't know how to film, and definitely did not know how to even edit a video. That is when I began to feel at peace. Here's a reframe that changed everything for me. You're not behind, you are just getting started. You're in a season of building, refining, and rediscovering yourself. And progress doesn't always look like movement. Sometimes progress even looks like pausing, recalibrating, resting, or healing. As author James Clear said in Atomic Habits, every action that you take is a vote for the person that you want to become. So stop counting outcomes and start counting your small wins. Because every time you show up, even imperfectly, you're building something far more valuable than success. So what can you actually do when you feel behind? Here are 3 science-backed strategies that helped me. Number 1, redefine what ahead means. Write down what success looks like for you in this season, not 10 years ago and not for someone else. Maybe it's peace, maybe it's health, maybe it's creative freedom. The moment you define it, you can reclaim it. Number 2, track your perceived progress. Each week, write 2 to 3 small wins, even if they seem trivial. I said no to something that drained me, or I went for a walk, or I filmed that one video. Remember, progress compounds, but only if you see it. Number 3, curate your inputs. Be mindful of who and what you consume online. Follow people who inspire growth and not comparison. You can't bloom if you're constantly watering someone else's garden. There's a Japanese proverb that I absolutely love. It says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. But here's what most people forget. Not all trees grow at the same rate. Some sprout in weeks. Others, like bamboo, take years underground before you see the growth above the surface. But once bamboo breaks through, it can go up to 90 feet in 30 days. So you're not behind. You're just in your underground season, strengthening your roots before your growth takes off. And if you're watching this and thinking, I am tired of feeling behind, then let this be a reminder. You're right on time for your own journey. Sometimes the act of declaring where you are with pride is the first step toward where you want to go. And if this video resonated with you, then don't forget to subscribe so you can follow the Reclaim series. And let me know in the comments below, are there any other topics that you would want me to cover? And remember, your pace is your power. See you in the next one.